man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Welcome to Right and Wrong. This is the show where we try to wake up the woke by talking common sense about the issues of the day. I'm your host, Brian Ruka, and with me as always is my man and yours, producer Juice. Now, he's not in the studio with me today, so I can't tell him to ask him to tell you guys how he's doing, but I can report that he's doing great. He hooked me up with some clips that I'm going to use for the show today, and since it's been far too long since we've done one of these, I'm going to lead things right off the bat with welcoming our good friend, Mr. Ric Flair, to start things off for us today, because it is showtime, baby! Woo!
Showtime!
Woo! I love it. Boy, did I miss doing those. What a start to the show. All right, my friends. Now, a few weeks ago, I saw a tweet from a great follow on X that goes by the handle of Boston Mom that really got me thinking. She simply tweeted, "We need a mayor in Boston that actually has a Boston accent." Now, I read that tweet and I couldn't agree more, because having a Boston accent is like a birthright for every Bostonian. The problem that I believe she's getting at here is that all the prominent politicians in Massachusetts these days aren't even from here. Most of them have moved here from someplace else, and they're usually not shy about telling you that they are here for change. Governor Healy is from Maryland. Mayor Wu is from Chicago. Low-level squad member Ayanna Pressley is from Cincinnati. And we all know that Senator Warren hails from the Lakota territory. And I don't care how long they've been here, but they'll never be true Bostonians because they didn't grow up here. It's not in their blood. We're constantly being told locally and nationally that diversity is our strength and that the system in place needs to be overturned. Have we ever stopped and asked them why? I'd argue that unity is a strength. The left likes to talk about one's lived experience. But what if the politicians running our state shared a lived experience of being born and raised right here among the people they've come to now represent? The Boston mayor should have a Boston accent, speaks to the key issue that has defined President Trump's political career: immigration. Personally, the whole national immigration debate shouldn't be about closing the border or opening the border. That's a no-brainer. You're either an idiot or being disingenuous if you seriously believe a country can operate without a functional border in place. You're also asking for chaos and violence if you decide to bury your head in the sand rather than deport the people that have entered our country illegally. Now, the real debate should be about what kind of immigrant we want to accept legally and how many of those kinds of immigrants we want to take in. My contention is that we drastically need to reduce the amount of legal immigration into our country, along with eliminating the illegal kind. Take the Somali representative from Minnesota or the Ugandan mayor from New York as exhibits A and B for drastically reducing the number of naturalized citizens in this country. When you close your eyes and you think of a New Yorker, I can guarantee that Zoran Mondami is not who you're picturing. I'm thinking of someone like that firefighter that goes to the Jets games. What about Ilhan Omar makes you think of snowy Midwestern Minnesota? Nothing. When I think of Minnesota, I think of ice hockey and ice fishing, not hijabs and incest. When I think about a Bostonian, I do not think about Michelle Wu. Being a Bostonian comes with some edge and an attitude. She's meek, mild-mannered, and she breathes into a brown paper bag when a group of boycotters tell her how they really feel about her. The sad thing is, these people that I've highlighted would tell you that they've been chosen to represent the new Bostonian or New Yorker or Minnesotan. They are the natural result of a multi-decade planned population replacement. The reason why I want to drastically limit the amount of legal immigration into our country is because the immigrant in 2026 is entering a country that no longer asks and encourages them to assimilate to our way of life. We don't ask them to learn our language. Instead, we simply tell them to press 2 or 3, and they'll be helped by someone speaking their native tongue. We don't ask them to be proud to be Americans. Instead, our political class tries to sell them that America is evil and racist. I was born in Boston in 1985, and Boston was 80% white, 30% black, and 10% was considered other. 41 years later, the city is now 46% white, 20% black, and now 34% are considered other. Compare that to what's going on in the country, which in 1985 was 83% white, 11% black, and 5% Hispanic. And now, the country sits at 57% white, 19% Hispanic, and 14% black. Now that is a lot of change in 41 years. I'm fully aware that pointing this out and speaking the way I'm speaking is sure to draw internet cries of how racist and dumb I am. The internet is an effed up place, and people just love being mad at someone, so I guess that'll be me for a couple of minutes. This whole conversation is really just about what it means to be an American. Maybe we can get Matt Walsh to make a movie where he goes around asking people, what is an American? If you ask me, being American means you were born here, or, if granted citizenship, you need to vacate citizenship from your home country along with swearing allegiance to this country. That swearing allegiance to America part is already a requirement. My big change would be removing the dual citizenship part. It's an asinine concept to begin with. So let's just get rid of it and move on. Imagine being a loyal citizen of both the crown and the colonies when the choice was made 250 years ago. It wouldn't happen. It's nuts. Better yet, why don't we just ask those foreigners who have flooded our country because of the World Cup what America is to them? X has been filled with videos of people being amazed at things like Waffle House, Ella Langley, and Buc-ee's. World Cup fans are in awe at the different looks and feels of our landscapes and our climates. They love interacting with cowboys in Texas, surfers in Cali, and the gruff, rough New Yorkers and Bostonians. Nobody is excited to visit the Somali communities in their layering centers in Minnesota or the Haitian towns of Ohio. I can promise you guys that. Massachusetts has been overrun with people from Scotland who are here with their bagpipes, their kilts, and their ability to drink for 18 straight hours at a time. And we love seeing them be who they are, together and united as Scots. Diversity is certainly not their strength. In fact, it seems like every other country gets to unapologetically celebrate their heritage except for Americans. What is a Haitian, or a Brazilian, or a Mexican, or a Japanese person? Someone at work the other day referenced all the Scots that were taking over Boston, and he asked where all the Haitian fans were. Now, both teams were in town because Scotland played Haiti at the house that Tom Brady built last week, and I couldn't resist when I told him that the Haitians are already here. They're the biggest supporters of Wu, Haley, and Pocahontas. I have a few videos to play that I think can help sum up what we're looking for from people that immigrate here and how it used to be versus what we're currently getting and how unsustainable it is to continue down this path. Now, the best producer south of the Mason-Dixon line teed me up with some good videos of the Boston Red Sox players interacting with fans and media over the years that helps me hammer home the point that I'm trying to make here. Now, I'm going to kick things off here with my favorite baseball player to ever play, Mr. Pedro Martinez. And what I'd like to highlight here is that Pedro came to this country in 1988 as a 17-year-old kid with the ability to fire a baseball and speak little to no English. Martinez lived with host families while in the minor leagues, where he worked to learn the language and to assimilate himself to American culture. He would go on to become a naturalized citizen in 2006. The hard work and effort that Pedro put in to become a part of the country he became a multimillionaire in was one of the most endearing qualities that helped catapult him into becoming such a fan favorite. We loved Pedro for his ability on the mound, there's no doubt about that, but his personality took that love to the next level. And do you know how we got to know Pedro as more than just the guy with the filthy changeup? We got to know him because he spoke for himself to the fans and the media. He learned our language and he communicated to us in that language. Imagine that concept. And this is one of the most famous clips of his from a press conference after he took a tough loss against the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium.
I pitched a better game today. It's just that I made I made some pretty good pitches and they battled their butt off. And Sierra is a good example, hitting good pitches. Matsui did it earlier in the game too. Abel hit pretty good pitches. I mean, what can I say? Just tip my hat and call the Yankees my daddies.
Unbelievable. You gotta love that clip. And he couldn't have done that if he wasn't speaking for himself, if he didn't bother to learn our language, if he didn't bother to care to learn our language. Next on the list is one of Pedro's teammates and fellow Dominican right-handed slugger, Manny Ramirez. Manny moved to the States when he was 13 years old in 1985. One of the most famous moments of his career was when he skipped a game as a Red Sox in 2004 so that he could become a naturalized citizen of the United States of America. At the start of the game, the man sprinted out of the dugout, waving a little American flag with a huge smile on his face as the crowd cheered for the proud American. And if you watched Manny, you would know that man sprinted for nobody. So he had to have been happy and proud to be an American that day. Manny Ramirez was not as enthusiastic about talking to the fans and the media as Pedro, but he still knew the value of communicating in English when it was his turn to speak. In this clip here, Manny is speaking for himself instead of through an interpreter, as he celebrates having been named the MVP of the World Series that broke an 86-year-old curse.
Hey, it's like a dream come true, man. I never thought about this in my life. But, you know, thanks God we did it here for the city of Boston, and I'm just blessed to be here.
Hey, let's hear it for Manny's on time. Manny, what about this group of guys that you play with all season long?
They're unbelievable. First, I want to thank the organization, you know, for making it happen. And I think we got a bunch of great guys in the team, and we got to do it again next year.
Manny, you were named the MVP, but there were so many MVPs on this team.
Exactly, but let me tell you, man, I'm just blessed to be the MVP because I know only 35 guys have done it, and I'm just blessed to do it.
What's it going to be like to you to be in the parade today? And
There it is. Back and forth with the media. They ask him something, he can respond. It's smooth. It's a nice presentation. Not the greatest quality. It was hard to find a Manny clip. Would you believe it or not, I guess. I thought I'd have plenty to choose from. But little old there, but yeah, he can talk, he can interact with the people interviewing him, and the fans respond. They love it. We love to hear that. Now, the last of the positive examples I'm going to play for you comes from a member of the Red Sox heyday that is probably one of the most loved members to ever wear a Red Sox uniform. This clip is a natural progression from the other two because it happened a few years after them, and it goes to show the value of what true assimilation means. This individual, I think, really did assimilate to the city, to the culture, and thinks of himself as a true Bostonian. And I'm talking about Big Papi David Ortiz. Now, Papi became a naturalized citizen back in 2008, and the clip I'm about to play for you is when Ortiz addressed the home crowd at Fenway Park after the city had been devastated by a terrorist bombing during the 2013 Boston Marathon. I'll warn you ones with little kids out there that this clip is unedited, and if you know what's coming, it's coming at the end. Here it is.
All right, Boston. This jersey that we wear today, it doesn't say Red Sox. It say Boston. We want to thank you, Mayor Menino, Governor Patrick, the whole police department for the great job that they did this past week. This is our fucking city. And nobody gonna dictate our freedom. Stay strong. Thank you.
Unbelievable. Still gives me goosebumps. It's our city, man, and nobody's gonna make us scared, dictate how we live. And he truly felt that and meant that in that moment. And it's because he wanted to become a part of this country, this city, and the world that we live in. He didn't want to just bury his head and speak Spanish his whole time here in the States and communicate only through an interpreter. He spoke for himself out there, and it's one of the most incredible videos you're ever going to see if you're from this city. All right, so we've shown you what it looks like and sounds like when players want to become a part of our country, our culture, and our effing city. Let me now show you just how bad things have gotten. Last year, the Red Sox dealt with a PR nightmare when the team and its star player, Rafael Devers, publicly clashed over a potential position change from third base to first base. Devers, who had been with the team since he debuted in 2017, was playing under an 11-year, $330 million contract. And when speaking to the media about the drama, he sat back and communicated through a Spanish interpreter. I can't imagine Pedro ever wussing out and hiding behind an interpreter. If Pedro was annoyed at the fans or the team, he sure as hell would let you know about it. Instead, this guy handled things like this.
¿Cuál es tu preferencia? O sea, ¿qué tú deseas que pase en términos de tu posición?
Bueno, yo juego tercera base, yo no juego más otra posición. Mi posición es tercera, de ahí para allá no sé qué ellos van a decidir. No controlo lo que ellos vayan a hacer. Sino mi posición es tercera y ahí que estoy ready todos los días de dar lo mejor de mí en lo que pueda y ya.
Yeah, no, like I said before, like my position is third base. I don't know how they want to go about it or what they want to do, but I know that that's the position I get ready to play every day. And it's just, you know, it's just my position.
How would you react if they asked you to DH? How would you feel about that?
No.
Can you translate that, please?
How do you feel like?
Incredible. Now, they had a field day with that one on sports radio. The fact that he just said, no. How would you feel about playing, what would you DH for them? He clearly can understand what the guy's saying to him, yet he's too much of a coward to speak for himself. he understood the question because he responds right away. No. It's incredible. Speak. We want to hear from you. If it's in broken English, it's in broken English. If it's with an accent, it's with an accent. But it's you speaking for yourself, not hiding behind another man to speak for you because you're unwilling to learn the language. I told you that he came here, he started on the big league team in 2017. I couldn't figure out when he actually came to the country, but it was before that. We're talking last year, 2025, this happened. You mean to tell me this guy couldn't be bothered with learning the language over the course of, call it, 10 years? He's being paid $330 million. He can't hire someone to help him learn English, to learn the language? Pedro did it. Manny did it. Ortiz did it. Why can't he? It's because Devers lives in a world where he can survive in this country without ever having to learn the language. Think about that. This guy can make $330 million without having to ever communicate in our native tongue. What a world we live in. Now, how about his former teammate, the struggling pitcher, current Red Sox, Brian Bello, who people try to wrongly label as a poor man's Pedro? If anything, this guy is a mass and cast version of Pedro. Let's not insult the greatest pitcher in team history by comparing this stiff to him. Anyways, this is yet another modern-day athlete that is relying on the ease and safety of a Spanish interpreter rather than assimilating and putting in the work to be able to communicate for himself.
Also being a righty and just a guy uses a lot of pitches. How much can you learn from a guy like that specifically?
Que con Sony un lanzador que es derecho y que él lanza bastante picheo. ¿Qué tanto crees tú que puedes aprender de él?
Bueno, tengo que verlo, ya lo había visto lanzar en otro equipo. Como dije ahorita, ya es un lanzador que tiene varias veteranías. Tengo que ver lo que tiene para mostrarme y lo que tengo para aprender de él.
Yeah, I saw all his speeches when he was from afar on the other team. Now that he's with us, I need to sit with him to see what advices he has for me and how I can improve my pitches. But yeah, that's coming.
Incredible. I can't believe it. Like, I understand maybe having the interpreter around maybe help if he gets tripped up or you know, maybe within the team, but ultimately what the interpreter's role should be is to teach him his own English, to teach him to communicate for himself, not to be the go-between between him, the fans, and the media. And the whole Devers thing, they traded him last year, and people were upset in the city trying to defend it. The reason why I wanted the guy gone and it didn't bother me is because I don't know him. You don't have a connection with him. You didn't get to fall for the guy the way that you fell for Pedro, Manny, Ortiz, because the guy doesn't speak to you. He uses the interpreter. It's terrible. I want to root for people that I can feel a connection with, even if it's on your TV screen and you're watching them as an athlete. You want that. You want to root for those players. And it makes these guys unlikable, at least to me. Now, I've shown you the good, the bad. Now here comes the ugly. And I'm about to play a sports radio call from Felger and Maz, and this was the major inspiration of this entire rant that I'm on here. Now, I'm going to play the whole clip for you guys before commenting on it to see if you guys can pick up on what really set me off. It should be pretty obvious because it's the culmination. I don't even know if that's a word, but it's where we've gotten to from those guys to these players to now the type of call you're going to get on sports radio. So here we go.
Noel in Rhode Island. Go ahead, Noel.
Hi. So I'm Dominican. I can confirm the thing you read is basically true, the translation, but I do want to say there is some cultural issues with that translation. And this is why I wish journalists learn the language sometimes, especially with Spanish. He was saying a lot. He was basically saying that the organization has been pushing him Like, he was insinuating a lot of that the organization has been pushing him to go to the minors, and they've been pushing him to possibly go to the bullpen, and he is dismissing that whole concept. He was also very upset because he believes that it's a structural issue. I mean, that it's not a structural issue with his pitching, that it's more of a slump, and they don't. That's why he was so frustrated with the entire insinuation, because it seems like there's something happening in the background. It feels a lot like Devers all over again, where Breslow is, like, communicating with these people, and he just can't. And it goes back to your point, Felger, that they just don't have a good communicator in the front office. And I think they're poorly communicating with him, and it's making that situation worse. Because as I'm listening to him talk fully, he's basically saying is, hey, he's basically insinuating they're telling me to, like, go to the minors. I'm telling them I'm just having a slump. We're having a back and forth. They're not listening to me. Screw the front office.
Okay.
That's basically what he is saying.
Nice, Noel. Thank you.
So this is happening again, just like Rafael Devers. I mean, as he was explaining it before he said that name, like, this sounds just like last year.
Wow. Having communication issues. Wonder what could be causing those between player and team, and can't figure it out. Now, did you guys catch what the caller said there at the beginning? The thing that really set me off? I let the whole call play because I still think it was pretty interesting, but this guy called up and he was upset that the Boston media doesn't know Spanish. He's mad. He's not mad at that athlete for not learning our language. He's blaming the media for not assimilating to the Dominican athlete instead of expecting the athlete to be able to speak our language. That's what the guy said. Oh, it really aggravates me that the media doesn't bother to learn Spanish so that they could understand what he was saying instead. Because that was another part of the topic of conversation that day on sports radio. The athlete says more and is kind of more angry and direct at the team, and the interpreter cleans it up and gives a polished version in English to the media and to us. So the whole point of that guy calling was saying, oh, it's a lot worse than that guy made it sound. Bellows' answer to the question, because he's struggling, he stinks right now, and the team sent him down to the minor leagues. So obviously there's stuff going on there. We want to hear about it. We want to know about it. That's what drives all this stuff. That's what drives interest in the teams and passion. How can we hear it if the athlete's saying something, the team hired interpreter cleans it up, makes it sound like a lot nicer than maybe it was, and we're left to listen to the call-in guy from the Dominican on the Felger and Matt show to give us the real story. Here's an idea. How about we just speak English? The caller claims to be Dominican, yet he was able to call into sports radio and communicate flawlessly with the English-speaking hosts. Now, why not hold Bello to the same standard? Pedro, Manny, Ortiz were all able to speak to the media in English. Why didn't anybody expect the media to learn Spanish back then? It's because we used to know what an American was, and one of the key components to being an American is the ability to speak English. We used to know what a Bostonian was, and a key element to that was speaking with a Boston accent. Just like Southerners speak with a drawl. Just like Texans talk like cowboys. It is what it is. And it's what makes us great. It always strikes me that people love to say, thank God we won World War II, or we'd all be speaking German right now. The implication being that our country would have been taken over and completely transformed. It's sad to see the country slowly being taken over as it's rapidly transforming into an unrecognizable celebration of third world ethnic cultures. Cultures that didn't and couldn't compete with us militarily, but instead marched through our doors with mud on their boots and went right to our fridge and started flipping through the channels on their own. The world has figured out how to finally defeat the greatest country that has ever existed. They're using our own bleeding hearts against us. Our charity and compassion are being weaponized to get a foot through the door. And once that foot's in, we're now expected to assimilate to the foreigner instead of it being the other way around. As the ruling class on the left, in the media, and within our school systems continue to push diversity being our strength, we will slowly continue the transition from being an United States of America to a country trying to build a new Tower of Babel, unable to communicate to each other and unwilling to even make an effort to try. My name is Brian Ruka. Thank you all for listening. Please like this video, share it with a friend, and subscribe to our YouTube page. Thanks for having me, and God bless.